Welcome to Special Guest Thursdays, where real voices bring real stories to life. This ain't just an interview. This is a spotlight on those making moves. Different paths, different struggles, different wins. But one thing in common, they showed up and leveled up. We're sitting down with leaders, creators, and game changers to talk pressure, purpose, and the mindset behind the grind. No scripts, no filters, just real. Because every guest brings gems, and every story brings power. This is the Final Boss Podcast, and this is Special Guest Thursdays. Tap in and tune up.
Welcome to the Final Boss Podcast. It's Thursday, and what do we do on Thursday? We have Special Guest Thursdays, right? Special Guest Thursdays, and tonight, we have a great show for you. We always have a great show for you, right? That's what we do here, and we don't shy away from difficult conversations, man. We definitely have a difficult conversation for you tonight, man. We're going to talk tonight. So we have 11 guests tonight, right? There's another town hall, right? Sooner or later, we're going to be doing an in-person town hall, right? An in-person town hall. But tonight we have a town hall. We have 11 guests. I have their emails. I have their questions, and we are going to get into wrong button. Very shortly, we're going to get into that, man. And first and foremost, I'd like to say welcome to everyone that's here. Chikadi, hey, what's going on? I'm glad to see you. Thank you for joining us. Man. It is Special Guest Thursday. So, yeah, like I was saying, sooner or later, we're going to get to a point where we're going to have 11 guests. We're going to be doing a roundtable. I'm going to be taking in all their questions, and we're just going to go around and talk about the issues and things that are on their hearts and minds, right? We're going to be doing that very soon. But for now, I have your emails, I have your questions, and we're going to go through it, right? 11 individuals who are participating in tonight's town hall, right? And before I get into that, look, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Before we do anything, like, share, subscribe. It takes less than 30 seconds for you to like, share, and subscribe to content, man. Don't gatekeep the information. Don't gatekeep the material. We're getting as much information out there as possible. This is episode 254. 254, man. And we're rocking and rolling, right? On our way to episode 300 for season 5, The Harvest, that starts at episode 300, right? And the harvest, man, is going to be amazing. Look, the harvest is going to be amazing, man. Let me tell you. So, if you have it, right? If you have it, go get pen and paper. Go get pen and paper. And you probably want to get yourself a handkerchief. I have a handkerchief, right? I've read some of the stuff, man. And, somebody might be a humdinger, right? It might be a humdinger, man. You might be doing one of these, right? Where your eyes are sweating and you be like, oh my God, right? So go get you your pen and paper to take notes. Get your phone, make sure your phone, if you use your phone to take notes, and get you a handkerchief or a napkin or something, right? Because tonight's going to be one of them nights. I already feel it. But nextly, right? Admin notes. If you haven't gotten Go Time All Aboard the Fired Up Train, go get Go Time All Aboard the Fired Up Train. It's an Amazon bestseller. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, Go Time 2 is dropping next month. Go Time 2 is dropping next month, man. I'm so excited. Let's go ahead and get rid of these banners before we get ready to get into the show. Go Time 2 is dropping next month, right? Woo-hoo! Super excited about that, man. Go Time 2, right? Go Time 2 is the follow-up to Go Time 1, All Aboard the Fired Up Train. It is dropping next month, right? And No matter where you watch it from, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. That is the greeting of the day. And to each and every single one of you, make sure you understand that this is for entertainment purposes only. It is for entertainment purposes only, right? So, no matter where you watch it from, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Kick, Twitch, or StreamYard, or on our very own website at www.thefinalbosspodcast.com, all one word, www.thefinalbosspodcast.com, where you can see all of our episodes, all 254, including this one right here that is live. Also, right, as I said, this is the town hall. So if you want your emails or you want your questions and everything to be addressed on our show, send us an email, right? At info@thefinalbosspodcast.com. That's INFO at thefinalbosspodcast.com to get your stuff into the town hall. And I believe we're going to be doing more town halls, man. I like the town hall format, right? I like it. It's a step away from the norm, right? So I like the town hall. So tonight's title of the show, The Build Knows, right? We're in the construction arc, right? We're in season 4, the rebirth, arc 4, the construction arc, right? And the tonight show is titled The Build Knows. 11 confessions. And one question I've never answered, right? Look, the chair rotates harder this time. We're doing zero hiding. So lock in, right? Lock in. The open loop is open. I am the Final Boss, and this is the Final Boss Podcast. And welcome, right? So, make sure that you guys get ready for this, right? Make sure you get ready for this. So tonight, to my smarts community, smarts, Final Bosses, motivators, warriors, we have 11 individuals, right? 11 individuals, right? And the first individual that's on the show, her name is Yara. Yara T, right? Yara's 29. She's a data engineer. And she says she's the smartest person in every room, right? But she's broke. Sound familiar? Yeah, a lot of us are, right? And then from the Final Boss community, we have Trent G. Trent G is 47. He's an 8-figure founder. And wife asked if she still knows him. That's going to be interesting, right? And then from the motivators community, we have Jelani A, who's 34, who's a content creator. The audience is up, but the income is down and voice is gone. Yeah, we're going to get into that, man. A lot of people are taking a lot of hits on social media right now after they dropped this new update for all their platforms, right? And then out of the Warriors community, we have Staff Sergeant Reuben, right? Who's 41 on active duty, right? And came back wrong. But he's trying to build his life back, and his life is on life support, right? And then let's continue. Back to the smarts. We have Devonte. Devonte's 36. He's an AI consultant. Made 47 people rich. But Devonte has a problem paying rent. And thank you for sharing that, Devonte. I can't wait to address your issue. And then from the Final Boss community, we have Karina, right? Karina who's 39. 39. Who says she has 2 exits. I don't know what that means. Oh, but no identity left between deals. She's okay. We go to get with you, Karina. Thank you for sharing. And then out of the motivators community, back to the motivators, we have Camille, who's 28, a coach, and builds everyone else. But her own life seems to be in pieces, right? And then we have from the Warriors community, we have a specialist. We're going to just say her name is Specialist Aisha, who's 27. She's a recent vet, came home from a war nobody briefed her on, right? I know what that's about, right? That's going to be a tearjerker. And then back to the smarts. We have Imani, who's 32, an operations director, promoted out of her actual gift. A lot of that is going on. A lot of that is going on, right? And then back to the final bosses. We have Boomer. That's a cool name. Boomer, like Boomer Esiason, right? Who's 56, third generation contractor. Kids do not want the family business. Uh-oh, that's going to be a problem. Yeah, we're going to talk about it, right? And then we have you, the listeners, right? And the question I've never answered out loud on this show, right? Yeah. We're going to get into that, right? So those are our 11 guests, 10 plus the chair. The chair is me, right? So we're going to get ready to get into it. So let me ask you, if you stay in the chat tonight, right? You might hate me 1/3 of the way. And then you may thank me by the time it's all over, right? So I need you to make a decision in the next 30 seconds, right? Stay or close the app. There's no in between, right? This is Special Guest Thursdays, episode number 254, season 4, The Rebirth, arc 4, The Construction. I am your host, the one and only, the final boss, right? And as I told you, 11 people, 10 plus 1, right? I have their questions, and tonight is the town hall, right? And I almost didn't air this one, right? Almost didn't air this one. Not because it was dangerous or anything, but because too much of it has a lot of truth in it. And it's really difficult, right? These are some of the most difficult questions that we have on our show. And we're going to talk about it tonight. So, Yara says she's broke. And she says she's the smartest person in the room. Meanwhile, Trent's wife asked him if she still knows him. And then Jelani got louder and lost his voice. Then Staff Sergeant Reuben came back wrong, and the build is the only thing keeping him alive. Devonte, who made 47 other people rich and can't pay their own rent. Then we got Karina, right? Who does not know who she is between deals. And then Camille, who builds everybody else's life and her own is in pieces. Then we have Specialist Aisha, who thought the war ended at the airport. Let me tell you, I know that all too well. And then Imani keeps getting promoted out of her gift, right? And then Boomer's kids do not want the family business he spent 30 years building. 10 confessions plus 1, 10 chairs plus 1. Real names have changed, real pain unchanged, right? And there it is, right? And of course, I'm the 11th chair in the reserve seat, right? And in this chair, I have one question. A question that I've never answered out loud on this show, not in none of the 254 episodes, not in 3 full seasons, not in an interview, not in a keynote. I've been ducking this question for 2 years, and tonight I'm going to stop ducking and I'm going to address it, right? But you have to sit through the first 10 chairs to earn that question, right? So, stay with me, right? Stay with me. That's the deal. You stay for the confessions. I open the vote. You bounce. The vote stays locked. I'm not making the question easy. The bill does not give away too easy. The construction does not get easy. The rebirth did not give easy. The show does not give easy, right? So let's start, man. Let's start. Drop a peace sign emoji in the chat right now, right? Drop a peace sign emoji in the chat if you're going to stay for the entire segment, right? So, and drop an X if you're bouncing, right? I want to see who's going to stay in the room and who's here to collaborate before the chair starts moving, right? And to my smarts, right? To my smarts, Yara, Devonte, Imani, they brought the questions that would expose every analyst, engineer, and strategist watching tonight. And to my final bosses, Trent, Karina, Boomer, brought the questions that will expose every founder, CEO, and operator watching tonight. And to my motivators, Jelani and Camille, brought the questions that would expose every coach, creator, and mentor watching tonight. And to my warriors, Staff Sergeant Reuben and Specialist Aisha, brought the questions that will expose every veteran, first responder, and frontline worker who is watching tonight. And to whosoever is the 11th chair right now, the one watching this with your phone face down on the desk because you do not want anybody else in the room to see what you're watching. Yeah, you, right? Pick the phone back up. The question coming in the last minute, right, is written for you. Hey, Andrea, I see you. I see you. Andrea's in the building, right? And look, the lights are on and they're hot. So bear with me. The chair is open. The vote is unlocked. And I need you all to pull up. The build is bleeding. I need you all to pull up. And we're here each and every last Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, live across all those platforms that I mentioned earlier, all 10 of them, right? Now, let me give you a rundown why tonight, right? Why tonight? Because ARC 4 cost me real money this week, right? And I'm putting a number on the record because if I'm asking 10 people in this community to sit in the chair and tell the truth, I cannot run the show from behind a curtain, right? I'm not the Wizard of Oz. The brand expansion protocol calls for the cost confection, and I'm giving it, right? And 2 weeks into ARC 4 the construction cost me 31 hours of sleep. I have not been sleeping since I graduated. Crazy, right? And I will not get back the cost of that, right? Cost me 4 dinners. Cost me a lot of money on legal fees for various reasons, right? Trademark oppositions, right? That are still active with USPTO. Cost me 1 professional relationship, right? And I'm not going to name that on air, but I would say this. That relationship was costing me more to keep than the trademark to fight, right? The bill came due the same week, and I paid both. That is the cost of standing under the lights this hard, this loud, with this much on the line. And 2 weeks into the ARC, I'm telling you that because every name on the roll call tonight, and we're going to be doing roll call, is going to pay a cost when they sit down. Yara is going to confess being broke and brilliant. Trent is going to confess a marriage he might be losing. Jelani is going to confess to a voice he can no longer hear. The list keeps going, right? Every one of those people pays a cost the second the confession goes on air, right? And I'm paying mine as well, right? Now, the why. The why. Because 2 weeks ago, on episode 244, we ran. Actually, it was longer than that. No, it was. Yeah, 244. No, that was the third. No, 1, 2, 3. This is 3. We ran the second one. I'm sorry. Right? 2 weeks ago. And that episode landed clean. The DMs blew up again, right? The clip count tripled, and the community came alive in the comments. But something happened in the responses that I read this week that I didn't expect. The questions are getting harder, right? The first town hall Arc 4 pulled out the questions people had been waiting weeks to ask. This town hall is pulling out the questions people have been waiting years to ask, right? Decades for some of you. The first wave was the first wave. The second wave is the bottom of the ocean, right? And that is why these confessions feel different. That is why the chair is going to feel heavier tonight than it felt in 2 weeks. I remember the first town hall, man. It took me a minute to get over that one, right? It took me a minute to get over that one, right? And the second one wasn't that bad, man, but the first one was heavy. It was heavy, and I felt it all through the night. Couldn't even sleep, right? So tonight is why I had to do a cost confession before we started, right? And this is not a remix of any of the other 2 confessions or the town halls. This is the next wave, right? The construction is exposing what the foundation is hiding. That is the assignment of Arc 4. And we are not just building, we are revealing what the build is built on, right? Some of what is under the foundation. And that foundation needs to be rebuilt before the walls get higher. Some of it needs to be torn out. And tonight we do the inspection, right? Look, drop a hand emoji in the chat if you have a confession you are sitting on right now that you are not ready to type. Just drop a hand emoji, right? You do not have to share it. I just want you to admit to yourself that you have one. Drop the hand emoji, right? The hands going up in the chat right now are now the receipts, right? Listen, first on deck, roll call. Yara, where you at? Yara is in the building. Oh, I see you. Look, all personnel are personally accounted for. I just want to make sure that they are paying attention, right? Yara, you're up. Look, this is before we get started, Yara. If you need to go get some water, some coffee, go get it before we get it started, right? I'll give you a couple minutes, right? I'm gonna give you a couple of minutes. All right. Oh, Yara says she's good to go. She's already ready. All right. So before Yara takes a chair, I need to give the room the brass tacks. Y'all thought I forgot about the brass tacks, right? I didn't. Right. The room gets the brass tacks, man. And here it is, episode 254, sharper than ever. This is sharper than the episode 244, right? Which was the brick. And I thought about this last night around 3 a.m., right? Last night at around 3 a.m. And I got up per usual. And I was sitting there and I'm just doing audits, mental audits, right? So here it is, the brass tacks for the evening. And it comes from yours truly, right? Listen, the build does not collapse from outside. The build collapses from the inside. From the room nobody is allowed into. From the wall nobody is allowed to touch. From the floor that was never inspected because the builder was afraid of what was under it. Inspect the floor or stop calling it a build, right? And that's from yours truly. And that is the brass tacks of the evening, right? So, for all those who didn't hear it, I'm going to say it again, right? Pay attention. The build does not collapse from outside. The build collapses from the inside. From the room nobody's allowed into. From the wall nobody's allowed to touch. From the floor that was never inspected because the builder was afraid of what was under it. You inspect the floor or you stop calling it a build, right? If you wrote that down, like I know some of you did, send it to one person who needs to hear it. Send it to someone who needs to hear it more than you, right? Screenshot it. I know some of you, I know all of you, smarts, motivators, warriors, and finders. I know y'all wrote that down. I know you did. That's why I read it slow, right? That's why I read it twice. So that is the law of the inspection. That is arc 4, right? That is arc 4. Now, 6 rules. 6 rules, right? 6 rules. We're going to call this the chair oath, right? 6 chair oaths, right? Oath number 1. The chair confesses or the chair goes out. No half answers in the seat. Yara, Trent, Jelani, Reuben, Devonte, Karina, Camille, Aisha, Imani, and Boomer. If you sit down with a softened question, I will hand it back. The confession is the toll for the seat. You pay the toll. You pass the seat, right? Oath number 2. The verdict is uncomfortable. Every chair gets a verdict tonight that will make at least one person watching unfollow the show. Possibly. I'm not adjusting the verdict to keep the audience. I am keeping the audience by not adjusting the verdict. The math runs in that particular order, not the other way around, right? And then oath number 3. The screenshot lives forever. Every verdict tonight is designed to be clipped, pulled, right? Shared. And it may even be misunderstood by the wrong audience, right? It may be loved by the right one. I built the verdicts that way on purpose. The clips are the perimeter. The episode is inside. Both serve the build, right? And then there's oath number 4. The chair speaks for thousands. Yara is just not Yara tonight. Yara is every brilliant, broke person watching. Trent is every quiet executive whose marriage is humming on emergency power. Jelani is every creator who got bigger and emptier at the same time. Every name on the roll call is a delegation. Treat the answers like you're sitting in the chair too, because somebody in your community is, right? And then oath number 5. The open loop holds until we're done. The 11th question stays locked until the 11th hour or the 11th chair, right? And I'm not telegraphing it. I'm not previewing it, and I'm not letting it slip out, right, at all. If you bounce early, you lose access to that question, and then you would miss, and I've never answered it before. So you stay or you leave, right? The vote opens at the close, right? And then, listen, those are the 5 oaths. Now let's get engagement. Let's get to it, right? It's going to be fast. We're going to be moving fast, right? I see the reactions already stacking. I see the hand confessions waving, right? I see the names of the Final Boss family who showed up tonight, right? We got Cleo, we got Marcus T, we got the Sensei, we got the Rocks, we got Pastor Jay is in it. Look, man, we got everyone's here, right? And you know what time it is. You know what time it is. Yara, your seat is open and roll call moves. It is your turn. You're up. Drop a hammer in the chat right now if you're ready for the chair, and the chair is ready for you. So listen, chair number 1, we have Yara T, 29 years old, senior data engineer at a tech firm, and I'm not naming that tech firm, right? She sent in this question on Monday at 11:47 p.m. after quarterly review, where she got praised for the 3rd time this year and passed over for another promotion for the 2nd time. And this is Yara's confession, right? Yara's confession. Here it is. Yara says, I'm the smartest person in the room I'm in. I have been since I was 8 years old. So why am I broke at 29? Well, Yara, smart to smart, right? I'm giving you the uncomfortable verdict first, right? And then we're going to walk it back, right? So here's the verdict. Listen, it's something I had to learn the hard way. I'm speaking from experience, right? Because being the smartest person in the room is not a status. It is a tax. And you've been paying the tax for 21 years, and you never asked who's cashing the check. Screenshot that. Screenshot it. Screenshot that moment, right? Listen. Send it to every brilliant broke person you know. Now, here's the breakdown. Here's the breakdown, y'all. I need you to pay attention. Because smart people get used in three ways. And I'm going to name all three because you've probably never had anybody name them out loud, right? And they're all patterns. So we're going to call them by what they are. They're patterns. So pattern number one, right? Pattern number one is the carrier, right? You carry the room. The room knows it. The room pays itself off, right? It pays itself off on your insight. You get praise instead of equity. You get visibility instead of compensation. You get respect instead of revenue. In every promotion cycle, somebody less smarter than you, but more strategic about positioning, takes the seat above you. And you are not invisible. You are too visible, right? You are too visible to lose and not visible enough to promote. They need you exactly where you are. So they keep you exactly where you are, right? Now, pattern number two, we're going to call that the translator, right? You make complicated things make sense to people who cannot figure them out on their own. Companies pay translators less than they pay creators. They pay creators less than they pay owners. And you have been translating for 10 years. You have never positioned yourself as a creator or an owner. The translator gets paid by the hour. The creator gets paid by the project. The owner gets paid by the outcome. You have been working in the wrong tier of the economy your whole career, right? Now, pattern number three, the audit, right? The audit. You see what is broken, you point it out, you fix it. The system files the fix under your name in a tracking document nobody important reads. The fix gets credited to the project. The project gets credited to a manager. The manager gets credited to an executive. The executive gets the bonus. You get the attaboy and a pat on the back and a 1% raise, right? You know where I'm coming from. A lot of you know where this comes from. You've lived it, right? You have lived it, man. Drop the emoji, fist emoji. Let's see your fists up, right? If you lived that, man. Look, Yara, all three patterns are running on you at the same time. You are simultaneously a carrier, a translator, and an audit system, right? And the system loves you. The system would keep you exactly where you are, and it would do it forever. Here's the move. Here's the move, though, Yara. This is what I want you to do, right? I need you to leave this system. I need you, as difficult as it sounds, I need you to leave the system. Not tomorrow, not 6 months from tomorrow. You spend 6 months building the version of yourself the system cannot afford to lose, right? You stop fixing free. You document every fix as a portfolio asset, not a ticket. You move every audit into a deliverable that lives in your name, not the project's name. You translate 3 concepts in your field into product-sized assets. You position as a creator or an owner, and you stop translating for the hourly rate. Brilliant and broke is a configuration, not a destiny. It's time to reconfigure. It's time to reconfigure. Yara, right? Give yourself 6 months. Knock it out. I believe in you, right? You're the smartest person in the room. You can handle it, right? Now, the chair clears. Smarts, Yara, open the door. Drop a light bulb emoji right now. If you are you have that same diagnosis. If you have that same diagnosis, right? Now, Trent, you're up next, right? Trent is up next. Trent in the building. Trent is in the building. Okay, Trent, I see you, brother. All right. Trent, 47 years old, founder and CEO of an 8-figure firm in the Southeast section or sector, right? He sent this message on Tuesday of last week at 6:11 a.m. And the first line of his message was an apology. The second line was a question. And here's Trent's confession. And I know this all too well, and some of you do too, right? My wife, this is Trent. My wife asked me last night if she still knows me, and I didn't have an answer. And we've been married for 19 years. What do I do? Oh boy. Well, that's a heavy question, Trent. That is a heavy question, brother. Talking to someone who been married and divorced, right? I'm not a marriage counselor, but I do know relationships. I'm not a marriage expert, but I know business. I understand patterns. So Trent, I had to sit with this one all week long, man. I did. And I want you to listen to me carefully because this is going to land on every builder who's married, who's in this room tonight, right? Here's the verdict. Your wife is not asking who you are. She's asking who you became while she was watching, right? I need you to screenshot that moment, Trent. All right. And everyone who's an executive, whose marriage is running on emergency power, I need y'all to screenshot that moment, right? Now, here's the truth. Trent, we're locked in. Here's the truth. When you started your firm 19 years ago, your wife signed up for the version of you that who you were at that moment or that specific time. The version of you who came home tired, the version who watched the games on Sunday, the version who was building something but had not been consumed by it yet. She believed in that version. She bet her life on that version. She had children with you from that version, right? And over the last 19 years, the firm got bigger. Each stage of the firm required a different version of you. The 7-figure version, the mid 7-figure version, the 8-figure version, right? Every version was an upgrade for the firm and a renegotiation with your marriage. You did not renegotiate. You upgraded the firm and assumed that marriage came with the upgrade. But let me tell you, it did not. It didn't, Trent. Your wife has been living with a series of strangers for a decade. She does not resent the strangers. She is just asking which one she's married to right now, right? And here's the most compelling thing final bosses do when they hear this type of question from a spouse. They get defensive, right? They get defensive. They list everything that they built for the family. They name the house, they name the cars, they name the schools, they name the lifestyle, they name the security. They turn the question into a courtroom and they try to win the verdict. That's the wrong play, right? You run it and you're going to lose your marriage in the next 18 months, right? The right play is inspection. You need to sit down with her this weekend. No phone, no agenda, no defensiveness. And you say this, right? You say this right now. And you tell her, I want to know who you became while I was building, right? Say, tell me first. Then you tell her who you became while she was watching, right? You listen, right? Listen to what she has to say. And for however long it takes, it needs to take a minimum of 2 hours. We're talking about an in-depth conversation, right? About your marriage, right? No interruptions, no solutions, no defending, just listening. The marriage is not broken. The marriage is uninspected. There's a difference. A broken marriage requires demolition. An uninspired marriage requires a Saturday night with a compelling question. 19 years of building does not get protected by working harder. 19 years gets protected by stopping to build long enough to introduce the new version of who you are to the woman who has been watching the renovations without a tour. Schedule a tour. Do it this weekend, right? Not next month. Do it this weekend, right? Trent, that's what I have for you, buddy. Right? That's what I have for you. Fire bosses, every founder watching tonight just got their marriage inspected. Drop a ring emoji right now, right? If Trent's confession hit your house too, right? The chair clears. Jelani, you are up next. Let's go with Jelani. Where's Jelani? Jelani is in the building. I see you, Jelani, right? I see you, Jelani. All right. Jelani, 34 years old, content creator. Jelani has almost as many followers as I have, right? 320,000 followers across platforms. Sent the question in on last Sunday, right? Sunday night, after a viral post that hit 11 million views. Kudos to you, man. Kudos to you. And it made him feel like nothing, right? And here's Jelani's confession per Jelani, right? He said, my audience grew to 320,000. My income shrank. My message got watered down. I am louder than I've ever been, and I have nothing left to say. What broke? What broke? That's the question. So, Jelani, I'm going to answer this from my experience, from this chair, right? That I sit in weekly, 5 times a week, right? Because I know this, right? And this one hits home because I have the receipts, right? So let's start with the first verdict, right? Let's start with the first verdict. Growth without alignment is amplification on the wrong signal. The bigger you got, the further you got from the part of you that had anything worth saying, right? I need y'all to screenshot that because this one is for every creator who's passed 100K and lost the voice that got them there, right? And here's what broke, Jelani. Here is what broke, right? Think about this. Think about when you started. You were creating for a small group of people who looked exactly like you, sounded exactly like you, needed exactly what you had and what you had to say. You did not have to translate. You did not have to soften. You did not have to think about the reach. You spoke your truth. You spoke it directly, and you spoke it to your people who heard your actual voice and who showed up, right? Then a piece blew up. A different audience shows up. A bigger audience, an audience that does not look like you, sound like you, and need exactly what you had. And to keep them, you started translating. You softened the edges. You added the context to the new audience because you thought they needed it. You shaved off the parts of the message that the new audience would not even understand. You started chasing a language that traveled across the biggest possible room. Look, man, every translation costs you a piece of your original voice. Over the last 3 years, per you translated yourself into a stranger. The 320,000 people following you now are not following you. They are following a translation of you that is no longer being translated by you. It is being translated by an algorithm that learned what vision of you the platform wanted to amplify. You stopped writing the translations and the algorithm started writing them for you, right? That's what broke. And here's the move, Jelani. This is a simple fix, right? Simple fix. Burn the translations. Not your account, not your audience, but the translation. You go back to where you were creating for the first 6 months when you started creating before the breakout. You speak in that voice for the next 90 days. You're going to lose some followers. You're going to lose some engagement. And you will lose reach. But no. And you know what else? unfortunately, you would lose the algorithm's favor, right? But you will get your voice back. The audience that stays is yours. The audience that leaves was never yours. They were the algorithms. The algorithm will find them somebody else to follow and let it, right? At the 90 days of speaking in your original voice, watch what happens to the income. Watch what happens to your death. Watch what happens to the part of you that has been silent for 2 years inside the noise. Growth is not the goal. Alignment is the goal, right? Growth follows alignment. Alignment never follows growth. You're not lost, man. Jelani, listen. You are buried under your own translations, and it's time for you to dig and dig and dig yourself out, right? That was Jelani, man. Have a great one. Look, if this resonates with you, if you're a creator, look, drop another fist emoji, right? We're going to do the drop another fist emoji, right? And to my motivators, every creator watching, you just got a verdict. You understand what is happening to your platform as well, right? And drop the speaker emoji if you've been speaking in the translation too. Tag the creator in your network who needs the verdict tonight, right? That was Jelani. The chair clears. Next up, Staff Sergeant Reuben. You're up. This one is going to break a few of you in the chat, so hold the line. The veterans and military does it for me every time. I have my napkin ready and I'm prepared, right? I hope you got yours too. So, Staff Sergeant Reuben, you're up. You're up, Staff Sergeant Reuben. Let me drink some coffee, bro. Let me drink some coffee. So, Staff Sergeant Reuben, I know you're here. You're present and accounted for. Thank you, sir. All right. Well, not sir. Staff Sergeant. Appreciate you. SSG, right? 41 years old. He's currently on active duty. He got 14 years in. 3 deployments. Same here, 3 deployments, right? And he sent this message on Saturday morning after a night of something he would like to say. Oh, I can't describe this. I can't describe this one here, right? No. So here's Reuben's confession, right? Staff Sergeant Reuben. He says, I came back wrong. The build is the only thing the build is the only thing keeping me alive right now. And if he's referencing, he watches the show, so he knows we're in the construction. So I use build a lot. So he's using build as a metaphor, right? The build is the only thing keeping me alive right now. What happens to the build if I do not survive what I came back with? That's a heavy loaded question, Staff Sergeant Reuben, right? Look, Big Sarge. Listen. Listen, man. Let's pause for a moment, right? I can't run this one through the standard verdict structure, right? Because this gets a different posture, right? It gets a different posture for me because I feel it right here, right? Because I sat where you sat or where you're sitting, Staff Sergeant, right? And so did a lot of us who are warriors who are watching tonight, right? And to everybody in the room, I need y'all to listen, because Staff Sergeant Reuben and every warrior in the community has had a version of this question and never has said it out loud, right? Staff Sergeant, I need you to listen. You didn't come back wrong, Big Sarge. You came back changed. There's a difference. Wrong implies the version of you that came back is defective. It's not. Change means the version of you that came back is different. It isn't. Defect and difference are not the same diagnosis. The system you operate inside of for 14 years rewards uniformity. The version of you that came back is no longer uniform. And that's not wrong. That is the consequence of doing what you were trained to do. Now, since we're on the subject of the build, it's time to build, right? The build is not what's keeping you alive. The build is waiting for the part of you that did not find let me say this. The build is what is letting the part of you that did not die find a reason to wake up. There's a difference. You need to honor that difference, Big Sarge, right? If you did not survive what you came back with, the build does not collapse. The build was never the structure. You were the structure. The build was the language you used to give the structure something to do every morning. If the language ends, the structure stays. If it just needs a new language. You're not the only one inside of it. You have a wife, you have children, you have your unit, you have your community. And guess what else, man? You got me, the final boss, the Big Sarge. I want you to hear what I'm about to say more than anything else I've said tonight. I need you to call the VA. I need you to call the VA tomorrow. All right? I need you to call them tomorrow. Get to a clinic you trust. Call the Veterans Crisis Hotline at 988. Press 1 or text 838-255. Get yourself to a chaplain. Hit me up, man. I'm available, right? The number is in the show notes. After this airs, I will answer and call you myself, man. You drop your number. Pick one, but I need you to do something, right? Before the next big thing breaks you, right? And I want you to understand, man, this is the construction. The build is going to be there next week. The work is going to be there next week. The mission is always there. You being there is not an automatic. You need to make it automatic. I need you to get the help. Use the system you served. I use the system, right? The system owes you the support. It's time for you to cash that check, man. It's time for you to cash that check, bro. Go get the help, man. Get the help, right? Go get it. Right? Go get the help. And to my warriors, every veteran, every first responder, every frontline worker watching right now, if any part of Staff Sergeant Reuben's confession is your confession too, you don't have to type it, man. You don't have to share it. You have to act on it. Make a call. Make it today, right? Make it today. Sorry about that. Look, man, it's a serious business. Serious business. What's up, Nikki? What's going on? Hello, hello, hello. Make the call, bro. Veteran suicide rate is an astounding number, right? An astounding number. One veteran, I believe, dies every 6 seconds. Every 6 seconds from suicide, man. Look, serious business. Serious business. Go get some help, right? The chair clears. And, man, that's heavy. I'm going to have to take a walk tonight, man. I'm going to have to take a walk after that one, right? So let's take a deep breath. I'm going to drink some coffee, right? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Shout out to Staff Sergeant Reuben, man. If y'all, look, we there for you, bro. We there for you, right? So, Devonte's up next. He's 36 years old, AI consultant. He's built 47 companies. Sheesh. AI strategies in the last 4 years. Oh, okay. Okay. Devonte sent in his question on the last Wednesday at 12 a.m., right? And he sent me a screenshot of his bank account. Bro, don't ever do that again, right? That's insane, bro. When I saw that, don't do that. I don't care how much money it is. But the money wasn't, it was low. It was low. He's depressed. He's right. So, Devonte's confession. He said, I helped 47 other people get rich and I can't even pay my own rent. What did I do wrong? Devonte, this stung, bro. It stung when I read it. Because I have to tell you, I've been that version of you, man. Right? And this verdict comes from the receipts that I'm still paying off, right? Here's your verdict. You built a generator that powers everybody's house but yours. You forgot to wire your own, right? I need y'all to screenshot that, right? Right? Send it to every consultant, every fractional executive, every freelancer, every contractor, every advisor who's watching, right? Now to break down, right? The breakdown for Devonte, right? Service-based smart people make a calculation early in their careers, right? And the calculation looks rational, but it's not. It is the most expensive miscalculation you can do in this industry. The miscalculation goes like this, right? I would get paid to help other people build. I will learn from each engagement. I will save the money. And eventually I will use the savings to build my own thing. That plan never executes. It never does. And here's why, right? Here's why. Reason number one, the engagements tend to expand to fill the available time. Every time you finish one, 3 more show up. The savings target keeps moving because the lifestyle keeps moving with the income. You never hit the savings number that triggers what you're trying to build, right? And reason number two, I'm going over. Look, just stay with me, right? Reason number two, the learning is not transferable. Each engagement teaches you how to help that company. The lessons are situational and they did not stack into a business of your own. You finished 47 engagements knowing how to help 47 different companies. You know nothing about how to build the 48th company for yourself because you've never actually built one. You have only repaired and accelerated other people's existing builds. And then reason number three, the identity locks in. After 4 years of being the consultant who helps companies win, you do not know how to be the founder of your company. The skill set is different. The risk tolerance is different. The decision making is different. You optimize for serving the client. You do not know how to optimize for owning the asset, right? Now, Devonte, listen, you didn't do anything wrong. You ran the standard play, but that play, my man, is broken, right? And that is the news, right? But here's the move to the news, right? You stop selling hours, you start selling assets. Productize one piece of what you've done 47 times, right? Just one. It's time to audit. The framework you keep using, the process you keep running, the diagnostic you keep doing from the very first meeting. Productize it, right? Price it as a deliverable, not as a service. Sell it 47 more times in the next year, right? That's the move. Then you take 10% of every consulting engagement going forward and put it into your own thing. Not a savings account, an equity stake, right? A piece of intellectual property, a small ownership position in a venture you contribute to, right? And you stop saving. You start owning, right? In the next 18 months, the ownership stacks, pays your rent. And in 36 months, the ownership stack pays your life. And in 60 months, the consulting becomes optional, right? Built all for you. Brilliant service does not build wealth. Brilliant ownership does. Switch the side of the trade you're on, my good man. Smarts. Every consultant in the room got the diagnosis. Drop a microphone emoji if Devonte just exposed your business model too. Tag the consultant who needs to hear this tonight. Katrina or Karina, you are up, right? Karina, you are up. And I think we might stop at Karina. And then we'll say the other ones, or we're gonna add them to another town hall, right? I think we're gonna do Karina. Karina going to be the last one, and then we're gonna close, and then we'll pick up. So for everyone else, man, look, keep sending your questions in and your emails, and we'll get you into the town hall, man. It's not the last one, right? We're gonna get you in. So Karina is 39 years old. She's a two-time exit founder, right? Sold her first company at 31, her second at 37. Sent the question in on Thursday of last week at 4:30 a.m. And I saw it because I was awake, right? She says she can't sleep. Here's Karina's confession. I built two companies and sold them both. I'm 39 and I have no idea who I am without what I'm building. The money is fine. The identity is gone. Help, help, help. Please help me. Help me now. Thank you, Karina. We're going to help you, right? So, Karina, this is a chair only somebody who has done it twice can sit in it honestly and say to you, right? You sat down for every two-time exit founder. And no, this is for every two-time exit founder, right? If this situation or scenario fits you, this is for you, right? Because most people won't admit this. Most people would not admit it, but you did. Thank you for that and respect to you for admitting it. And I need to tell you, this is the verdict. You aren't lost. You are between contracts with yourself. The next contract starts when you stop trying to be employed by your own resume. Listen, screenshot that, right? We're about to travel and I'm about to break it down, right? What happens when a builder sells the build is not a translation or a transition. It is a death and a resurrection. The death is the part you experienced in the closing meeting when the wire confirmation hit. The resurrection is the part nobody talks about because most people are too busy spinning the wire to notice they never resurrected. You noticed, and that is why you are in the chair. And here's the truth about identity in the post-exit window, Karina. Builders who sell think they are selling a company. They aren't. They are selling 7 years of an identity. The company was just the wrapper. The identity was the cargo. When the wrapper goes, the cargo has nowhere to live, so it floats. That floating is what you're calling lost. It's not lost. It's just unhoused. The mistake most people like yourself who are two-time exit founders make it what you make is idea that they try to find a new rapper first, right? They start a new company too soon. They take a board seat too soon. They join a fund too soon. They do anything to stop the floating, anything to get the identity back in a rapper. Karina, I don't need you to do that. Don't do that, right? Listen, the unhoused phase is where the real builder is born, not the operator, the real builder. And there's a difference. The operator runs the company. The builder decides what to build. You have been an operator for 16 years, and you've never been a builder. Builders are made in the float. And here's the protocol for the float, right? In the next 90 days, and that's 90 days minimum, no new ventures, no board seats, no fund positions, no public commitments, no exits to a wrapper, right? In the next 90 days, you do the next three things that I'm about to tell you, right? You write down every assumption that drove the last two builds, not the strategy. The assumptions underneath the strategy. What did you believe about what mattered? What did you believe about who you were? What did you believe about why you were doing it? Get it all on paper. 90 pages minimum. Start writing, right? You audit the assumptions. Which ones are still true at 39? Which ones were inherited from a younger version of you? Which ones were never true and you ran on them anyway, right? And then the next thing, you write the next set of assumptions for the next 20 years of building. You got the time, right? But you may not have the company, but you do have the assumptions, right? When the 90 days in, the rapper finds you. You did not look for it. The identity is not gone, Karina. The identity is between assignments, waiting for you to write the next job description. So write it, right? And final bosses, every exit founder in the room got the playbook. Drop a heart emoji if you've been between rappers too, right? Now, normally, I had the show set up to continue, but man, we're at our time, right? And we're going to pick back up at the next town hall with Camille. Camille, you will be up next on the next town hall, and I'll make an announcement for that, right? And we're going to close, man. We're going to close. I apologize we didn't get to everybody, but you know, this is not going away. We're not going away. We got more town hall coming, right? More town halls coming. So keep your emails coming to info@thefinalbosspodcast.com. And before we close, how much time? Give me a couple more minutes, right? Give me a couple more minutes. Because I did promise that I was going to unlock the vote for a particular thing for the chair that I'm in, right? The 11th chair. I was the 11th chair. So this is the reserve seat before we close. And this is the thing that I've been ducking for 2 years, right? I told you early on and in the beginning that you had to sit through. I know we didn't finish all 10 chairs, but you guys who are still with us, you earned the right to this, right? Because Yara, Trent, Jelani, Reuben, Devonte, and Karina carried the load, right? And you owe them, right? And here's the question for the chair, right? Why do you keep building? Here it is. Why do you keep building when you already proved everything you needed to prove? That's the question. There's 6 words underneath and 2 years of ducking on top of it, right? Because I've been asked this question a lot, right? I get asked it a lot, man. I got asked it the other night when I was hosting a fundraising event with my boy Nico, who's running for 11A, District 11A in Baltimore, right? He's running for that seat. And we ran a fundraiser for him down at Tony T. Shout out to Tony T down in H Street, right? Go see Tony T, man, 1234 H Street, Northeast, Washington, D.C., right? I was asked the question then, right? I've been asked it about from a lot of people, right? I look at myself in the mirror and I ask myself this question also. And I've been giving everyone who asked a different version, right? A version that just didn't quite sound right. But tonight, I'm gonna give you the actual answer, right? Because a lot of y'all know. Y'all want to know. Like, when do I stop? I do not keep building because I have something left to prove. I keep building because I am terrified of who I become when I stop. That's the answer. That's the vote. I don't know how to stop. It's in me. I've been building since I was a kid. Ask my mom. Ask my mom, bro. From the Legos to, look, I was in gifted and talented programs. I was in STEM programs. I took physics, college level physics in the 9th grade at Gwynn Park in the science, math, tech program there, right? I've won spelling bees. I've won science fairs. I'm a nerd, man. I've geeked out. Listen, yeah, right. And on top of that, fast forward, I've done 23 years built into a federal system. I was in the military. I was in the guard, right? I was at DOD. I was at the Pentagon. I've been inside the cybersecurity perimeter. I built inside of that same perimeter with Saturn Digital Network, right? I've been inside and been building inside of the Final Boss. I built the Go Time series. I've just started not just started, but I've been building the doctoral track for about a year, even before this started. I'm in the middle of several trademark fights, and I continue to build. And I build inside every relationship that mattered to me. And I will continue to do it as long as I'm here. The build is the only version of myself I've ever known how to be at full capacity. When I'm not building, I do not relax. I do not unwind. I do not enjoy. I unravel. I have watched myself unravel 3 times in the last 23 years. Once after OEF 3-4 in Afghanistan, and once after the Pentagon. Actually, it was 4. Right after I got injured in Iraq and was medevaced out of country, right? Then, more recently, about 2 years ago. No. Man, 5 times. About 3 years ago, I was in a really bad car accident where my Corvette at the time was totaled. And I built this Corvette, man. I built this Corvette. Oh my God, it was my baby. And I lost her. A guy ran a red light. Wow. And he T-boned me. And I hit a guardrail, destroyed the car. Right. And then again, about 2 years 2 years ago, which would have been a year after the accident, when I almost walked away from doing the podcast. I almost said, you know what? I'm done with everything. Right. And I didn't want to build anything anymore. And I kept building to outrun the version of me that exits in the absence of the build. And that's the truth. That's the confession, right? And here's what I've learned in the last 2 years, watching myself as I ask this question and when I refuse to answer it. The build is not the problem. The fear underneath the build is the problem. The fear has a name, and that name is what I've been running from since I was 8 years old, right? When I taught, my worth was attached to my output, right? See, I learned early on that when you get good grades, you get awarded. And I like being awarded, right? Who don't? Who didn't like it? So I strive to get straight A's, man. Strive. I was rewarded. Bonds, money, you name it. So I continued. Man, on that path, right? But, and look, I'm still building. And I'm building even harder than I've ever built. But I'm building from a different place now, in a different room. I'm building because the build matters, not because the alternative scares me. The fear is still there. The fear has been demoted from operator to passenger. the build still happens. The build is just no longer the medication for the fear. That is the rebirth at the deepest level. That is what the rebirth season has been doing quietly, asking every one of you to confront, not the construction at the surface, the reason underneath the construction. Go Time, All Aboard the Fired Up Train, my first book, helped me. It helped me redefine to build. It helped me redefine because I understood and found my why, right? And for every listener who is with me, this is the 11th chair, right? Although we didn't get to all 11, we're going to come back to that on the next town hall, right? Listen, whatever you're building, ask yourself the same question and be honest. Sit with the answer. Then keep building, but build from the right room. The build deserves the right operator. Look, man, I see you. I love you guys. I am building right next to you. We're in this journey together, man. This is the Final Boss Podcast, Final Boss Nation, Final Boss family. Look, the one loop is closed. The 11th chair clears, right? So we got as many confessions in as we could, and I finished with the last, right? The vote is open. And to my smarts, right? Yara, Devonte, Imani, and every brilliant person in the community watching tonight, you sat down, you got diagnosed. The configuration is not your destiny. I need you to reconfigure. Drop a light emoji in the chat right now if the smarts chair called your name. I am reading every last single one of them. And to my final bosses, Trent and Karina, we didn't get the boomer. We get the boomer next time, right? And every operator carrying the weight. You sat down, you got the inspection. The marriage gets the Saturday night tour, right? The identity gets the 90-day float. The legacy gets the actual choice. Drop the crown emoji in the chat right now if the final boss's chair carried your confession too, right? And to my motivators, Jelani and Camille, right? Every creator and coach in this community, you sat down. You got to burn the translation protocol. You got the architect that deserves a house verdict. Drop a fire emoji if you needed to hear this tonight and it resonated with you, right? And to my warriors, we got to Staff Sergeant Reuben. We didn't get to Specialist Aisha. We get Specialist Aisha next time, right? And every veteran that's in the room, every first responder and frontline worker in this community, you sat down, you got the brief, you got the line. I need you to use it. Make the call. Drop a medal emoji if you served and showed up tonight. Tag the vet in the chat who needs to hear this. Send it to him immediately, right? The 11th chair, which is me, where I sit, right? The vote is open, and you've had every answer, every actual answer. I need you to use it. Use it for yourself. The chat did big numbers tonight. Thanks to everyone for participating and joining us, right? I need you guys to make sure you screenshot those moments. Get them to your people, right? And 3 asks before we close. 3 asks before we close, right? Ask number 1. I need you to share one verdict from tonight. Just one. A 1-to-1, right? And by midnight, the verdict that I need you to drop the verdict that hit you the hardest. Send it. Don't explain it. Let it land, right? And then ask number 2. Subscribe, man. Subscribe across every platform. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitch, Kick, StreamYard, Twitter, and our very own website, right? If you're not subscribed yet, you need to. Hit the subscribe button. Now is the right time to do it if you haven't, right? And then ask number 3. Send in your questions for the next town hall, right? We don't know when it may be. It may be 2 weeks from now, maybe 3 weeks from now, but it's coming, right? Same format, different chairs. Drop the question in the DMs or in the comments. And if your question makes it to the roll call, the next chair has your name on it, right? This is the Final Boss Podcast. I am the one and only, the final boss. Go Time, national bestseller, Amazon, right? Go check out the author site at dwight-turbodillard.com, right? Check out our cybersecurity website at satdiginet.com, right? For those who need it again, the Veterans Crisis Line is 988, press 1, or text 838-255, right? The Final Boss Podcast weekly lineup, sitting down Sundays at 9, Motivation Mondays at 9, Tech Tuesdays with the Sensei at 9, Merger Wednesdays, the doctoral at 9, doctoral at 9. Special guest Thursdays right here at 9 p.m., right? Episode number 255 drops this Sunday on Sitting Down. Arc 4 continues. And this is my last words to those who we were able to get to Yara, Trent, Jelani, Staff Sergeant Reuben, Devonte, Karina, and Camille. Thank you. The build is bleeding because the build is alive. Dead builds do not bleed. They sit there. Your build is alive. The bleed is the proof. The vault is open. The lights stay on. The hammer gets put back in your hand. It's time to build. It's time to build from the right room this time. The final boss never loses. It never loses, right? Until Sunday. That is our show, ladies and gentlemen. And if I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being patient with us. And look, there's a heavy pain that comes with discipline, but there's an even heavier pain that comes with regret. I am here. We are here. And as always, be balanced, be equal, and be smart. That is our show. Thank you for joining us, man. Again, and again, and again, and again. Thank you. Talk to you soon. Good night.
They thought it was over. They thought the fire burned out. But fire doesn't destroy the chosen. It forges them. Hosted by Turbo, the CEO. New energy, new strategy. Every setback builds strength. Every loss builds strategy. And every leader rises again. The rebirth begins. Season 4. Bigger conversations. Real strategy. Power moves only. Monday motivation. Tech Tuesday. Merger Wednesday. Special guest Thursdays. Sit down Sundays. Season 4 starts now. Tap in or get left behind. Because bosses don't wait, they lead.